Hello guys, welcome to my channel Bio at Your Hands. In this session, we will see an overview of brain. The human neural system can be divided into two. The first is central neural system. Central neural system. The other one is peripheral neural system. That is peripheral neural system. So here central neural system comprises of brain and spinal cord. Brain and spinal cord. Okay, spine. So in this session we are going to see about brain. So a brief outlay of brain. So when we talk about brain, it is a site of information processing and control. Information processing and control. Brain is constructed by set of neurons which forms the basic structural and functional unit of brain. So neurons, right? Like how nephrons serves as the basic functional unit of kidney, the same way neurons form the structural and functional unit of brain. So for example, you can see a brain model here. Okay, so this is the top view of the brain. From top, if you see, your brain is seen like this. Okay, then coming to the side view, your ears are placed here, and you can see your eyes are placed in the front part, so below the frontal lobe. Okay, your eyes are placed here, and bottom stem, right? So brain parts, the large portion with intrusions of the cerebrum. Okay, large of intrusions are present here, and a central cut is present here. Okay, so then at the bottom you can see cerebellum. Okay, this is the red highlighted portion, cerebellum. Okay, then this is called as medulla, also known as medulla oblongata. Okay, from where our spinal cord arises. Okay, spinal cord in the vertebral column. Okay, with the vertebral column. And here you can see pons. Okay, the small bulb like portion called pons. Okay, so in the side view you can see the cerebrum, cerebellum and pons. So this is the side view. So this is a pons here. Okay, so in the top view you can see, so like this. Okay, this is the side view and this is the top view. So in the top view you can see a line cutting the cerebral cortex, that is dividing the cerebral cortex into two hemispheres. Okay, the central line. Okay, cutting the portion into two hemispheres. So this called right and left hemispheres. Our brain controls all the functions of our body, and it is protected by protective skull and followed by three meningeal layers. Okay, cerebral meninges, and then followed by cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, the cerebrospinal fluid flows around the brain, providing it a cushion effect. Okay, so our brain can be divided into four lobes, that is frontal lobe, parietal lobe and occipital lobes. So while talking about the cerebral cortex, I have making a picture out of it with showing different lobes in distinct colors. Okay, so this is a side separate lobe. This is the intrusions here and extrusions, like intrusion sulci. So intrusions are called sulci and the extrusions, that is the bulges, are called gyri, in singular gyrus. Okay, so 4 lobes are there. So each lobes are marked in each colors here, like I have represented it. Each lobe has distinct functions. Okay, so the first thing is frontal lobe, that is it is situated in the front. So frontal lobe. So analytical processes, okay, involves in analytical processes. The next one is parietal lobe. Parietal lobe behind the frontal lobe. Okay, next comes occipital lobe. So ocular cortex, okay, visual perception behind. Okay, then the side, the lateral side, you can see your temporal lobe. Okay, processing temporal lobe, so processing auditory impulse. Okay, so each lobes are separated by sulcis. Okay, deep sulcis. So this sulci separating frontal lobe and parietal lobe, here this sulci, the sulci is named as central sulcus. Okay, the deep sulci, central sulcus. Okay, the next comes parietal lobe and occipital lobe. The sulci separating it is called parieto-occipital sulci. Parieto-occipital sulci, right? Then the sulci separating the temporal lobe from the parietal lobe, like it lays in the lateral part. Okay, so this is called as lateral sulci. So the sylvian or lateral sulci or sulcus. Okay, so this is the brain, like the central fissure divides the central fissure, right? So this divides the brain into 2 hemispheres. Here the cerebral dominance decides the right or left-handedness of the person. If the right hemisphere is dominant, the person will be left-handed, and if the left hemisphere is dominant, the person will be right-handed. Okay, so the cerebral dominance decides the handedness. As I said earlier, each lobe has its distinct functions. So frontal lobe is responsible for analytical process. Parietal lobe for cutaneous sensation, it processes the cutaneous skin senses. And this occipital lobe for visual cortex, okay, this visual perception and processing. Okay, when whatever you see is processed and perceived here in this part. Okay, this in this occipital lobe. And here temporal lobe is mainly for auditory signals, like auditory signals are processed. Okay, the signals are acquired, the information is acquired and the signals are processed. Okay, and one more thing, a small area under the gyrus part, like under the temporal lobe there is a gyrus part, and the small area, that small gyrus, is called as hippocampus. Okay, this is responsible for creating new memories. Okay, so this is the outline, overall outline of our cerebral cortex, right? So our brain has been divided into 2 by central fissure, and in the middle, no, it gets attached by set of fibers. Okay, so here the central fissure, and here in the center, set of fibers like known as corpus callosum. Okay, the two hemispheres, in the center they get attached, so this part. Okay, so in the cross section you can see it well, so I am showing the cross section. So this is the corpus callosum, those cerebral cortex, corpus callosum. So this connects the two hemispheres. Then we will see cerebellum. Okay, this is cerebellum. It has lots of convolutions. Cerebellum is present at the back of the brain, like our back side. Okay, so here I'm showing how the brain looks, and here the pons is present, and midbrain is present here. Then the bottom comes medulla oblongata. They form the brain stem, and this is the cerebellum is the forms the hindbrain. Okay, midbrain, hindbrain. Then this is a sagittal view of our human brain. So at the side, from the side, if you see, our brain looks like this, and I have cut it like sagittal section to view sagittal view, cerebral cortex. So this is cerebral cortex. Even you can see the lobes here. So like all the lobes, like parietal lobe, occipital, this temporal lobes, and this is a corpus callosum present, like which connects the brains. And here when we are talking about cerebellum, it has lots of convolutions. It is responsible for the fine motor movements, and the midbrain directs to the pons. Then comes our medulla oblongata. It rises to the cord, and here thalamus, hypothalamus, and our pituitary glands are present. And one more thing here, in this brain you can see certain small holes. Okay, all over the brain, your cerebrospinal fluid passes, and this pores known as ventricles. Okay, so here the cerebrospinal fluid passes all through the ventricles and the ducts in the bottom. Okay, so through the ducts, through the ventricles, and all over the brain. So the ventricles and other parts, like all other ducts and each and every part, thalamus, hypothalamus, everything we'll see in detail in the next videos. Thank you.